Welcome, Hornets, and thank you for joining me today. Today we're going to be taking a look at using our calculator to find quadratic, exponential, and logarithmic regressions, and to see how we use our diagnostic to ensure that we're getting the best accurate answer we can. So in front of you, you'll notice that I've got a group of statistics, and our goal is to put these into our graphing calculator under Y1. Now we're going to be using our stat button today, so be aware. The stat button is right below the delete. So if you hit stat, you should now see this list that shows edit, sort A, sort D, clear list, and set up editor. So I can clear lists from this. I can set up my editor. I can do all kinds of things. We want to simply edit. Now, if you have values in your lists, move them to below list that you're working with. Move the arrow up, hit clear, followed by enter, and everything in that list will go. Once again, below list 1, move it up so you are on L1, hit clear, followed by enter. Now, when we do this, we're going to have our list 1 are going to be all of the X values, and list 2 is going to be the Y values. Please remember to use the negative, the minus, as opposed to, no, the negative as opposed to the minus. We're going to be using this button as opposed to this button. Notice if you use the wrong button, let's just put minus 20, it's going to say syntax error. So you hit 2 and it will put it on the minus that you used. Make it a negative and then hit enter and you're now good. We're going to put negative 15 in, negative 10 in, negative 5, 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25. Move your arrow over to the right so it's under list 2, and list 2 is going to be our Y values, starting with 805, then go to 744, 704, 653, 587, 551, 512, 478, 436, 430. Make sure that the values correlate between both lists. That means they have to have the same number of elements in each list. If not, it will not do what you want. Second, we're now going to go second quit. Now, in order to do this, we want to make sure that our diagnostic is on. It means we go down to Stat Diagnostic. If you currently have the black box on off, you're going to want to move it to the off, move to the right so it's blinking on the on, and hit enter. Now do second quit. This will allow me to now hit stat again, and now I can do calculate, which will allow me to calculate the quadratic regression which we want. Either move down to 5 and hit enter, or hit 5. Now, you need to have list 1 as your X, list 2 as your Y. If it is currently in a different list, let's say we have list 3 and list 2. Move on to list 3, and you will hit second 1, and it will change it to list 1. If you need to put list 2, go to list whatever you have for the Y, and hit second 2. We're then going to move to store the regression into alpha trace Y1, and I can now hit calculate. Notice the R squared is our correlation coefficient, and it tells us how accurate our answer is. The closer to 1 we get, the better it will be. We're now going to want to graph this. Hit second Y equals, and you'll notice the stat plot is currently off. Hit enter, and we're now going to turn the stat plot on. You should have X1 is list 1, Y is list 2. I'm using a box with a blue box so I can see it. I'm now going to hit on, and you'll notice that the on button is blinking. If I now hit zoom 9, I see the graph, I see the curve, and I can see it going through most of the points. It's not exact because it only touches those two boxes and these two boxes at the far right, and only a little bit. Alrighty, that's for a quadratic regression. Let's go to our home screen, and we're now going to do an exponential regression. These come from the worksheet that I've given you, and we're going to do the exact same thing. Notice that our x's are going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then our y will be a 4, 7, 10, 15, and 22. So go to Stat, hit Edit, move up, clear, enter, over, up, clear, enter. 0, enter, 1, enter, 2, enter, 3, enter, 4, enter. Move over to list 2. 4, enter, 7, enter, 10, enter, 15, enter, 22, enter. Make sure that the number of elements in each list correlate or are equal. Go to the home screen. Hit Stat, Calculate, move down to 0, which is our exponential regression. Hit Enter. List 1 and List 2 should still be x and y. We're going to store it in our regression into y1, alpha trace, y1. Now calculate. Once again, R2 shows us our correlation coefficient, 0.9935. It's not great, but it's pretty good. Make sure that we do second y equals, so our stat plot is on. Now we can graph it. Zoom 9 will give us the curve and show us what we've got. Notice it's not perfect because the second element and the last element to the right are just touching by a little bit. The third, and the fourth element are in just a little bit, as is the first. Let's try another one. This time, let's go to number 2 now. We're doing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do 3, 4, 7, 11, and 18. So Stat, Edit. I only need to change my second list. So I have 3, 4, 7, 11, and 18. Second quit, Stat, Calculate, 0. Go down, store it in alpha trace y1, calculate. Notice this one is a little bit off more, 0.9925. If I hit Zoom Stat, I can see it as well. Notice now these two are about the same, but this first one is off by a little bit, and the second and the third are only at the corner. Let's now do a logarithmic regression. Let's use these values, and you'll notice what we're going to get is y equals a ln of x plus b. So we go to Stat, Edit. Hang on a minute. We have to change some of these. I believe I need to change this to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's because of my domain. Notice x has to be greater than 0. Because it was 0, it would have given me a problem. Go to list 1 and clear them out. Hit Enter. List 2, clear them out. Hit Enter. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we have 0, 2, 3.29, 4.201, and 4.798. Second quit. Stat, calculate, 9, the regression. We're going to store it in alpha trace y1 and calculate. Notice that our r squared is 0.99947. This is a very accurate approximation. Hitting Zoom 9, we can see them, and notice that they go through the first one clearly, and each of them is pretty good. And this is how we find our quadratic or our logarithmic regressions. We hit y equals and we can see what the equation is. Okay? This is working with regressions in your calculator for quadratics, exponentials, and logarithmic. Thank you very much, and I hope this has helped. If you like this video, please click like, and I hope you subscribe. Thank you very much, Hornets. Please take care, be safe, and be well. Remember, it's easy to be mean, so work hard and be nice to each other. Thank you.